Hello and welcome to the second narrated race video from us at Team Casson Racing. I'm Paul Wilson, crew chief, driving coach, tactician, data analyst, website graphic designer, computer data manager, video editor, travel agent, purchasing agent, assistant car hauler driver. I like to think of myself as Roger's soccer ball, just like Tom Hanks had in Castaway. Wilson! But enough about me. I'm sure you'll agree with that. It's really all about our hero driver, Roger Casson, driving our Swift DB2 Sports 2000 race car here at Thompson Speedway and Motorsport Park in Thompson, Connecticut. We're very lucky to have our new friend Kurt Fisher joining us here with his beautifully turned out number 81 silver Swift DB2 with DB5 bodywork, just as ours is. Without him, we wouldn't really have anybody to race against here. There are plenty of other cars in this race behind us on this pace lap, but they are all considerably slower. They don't constitute any competition. They will become moving obstacles to get past during the latter part of the race. And Kurt bought this car last year. It had been out on the West Coast, hadn't been raced for 10 years, so it had to be gone through completely, which GMT Racing did for him. And it's a beautiful car. I just love the silver with red and black trim paint job he has on this car. Kurt is here with his son Eric, who is driving Formula Ford that used to belong to Kurt. So racing is a real family endeavor for the two of them, and personally I think that's really terrific. We'll be going green in just a few seconds now as we come around this last corner onto the main straight. So here we come around the last corner. Whoa, what is this sudden burst of speed from Kurt while the pace car is still out there before the green flag? Very interesting, very unusual. Roger has caught back up to him, and we have a green flag. We have a race. Both cars accelerating just as hard as they can now. They seem to be very well matched under acceleration. Oh, Kurt's pulling ahead a little bit there under braking. A little puff of smoke. I wonder what that's all about. And as he comes out of turn 2, he's doing very well, pulling away from the corner just a little bit better than Roger is. Oh, a little bit of a wiggle for him coming out of turn 2. And this is the apex a little bit. Oh, so does Roger a little bit. Well, he pulled out a very, very slight lead at this point. Roger seems to be catching back up to him, though, here in turn 4. And now they're going to be going underneath the bridge. We'll see how that goes. Roger seems to come up on him on the braking there. This, I think, is going to be a very close race. I'm pretty sure of that. Yeah, they're pretty closely matched. And returning to the back straight of the 5/8 mile oval. Oh, and Roger takes a little wider line going into 9, which should theoretically help him get on the power a little bit sooner going through 10. It's hard to tell if he really gained anything there, but going into 11A, he has gained a few feet on him there. Now through 11B onto the front straightaway. And we're coming up on start-finish line where we'll be able to calculate what the gap is, about 0.4 of a second. That is not a big lead, not at this stage of the race. Things are still pretty darn even. Good rotation there from Kurt again, going through turns 2, or between 1 and 2. Going into 3 now. It's still pretty close there, evenly matched. Kurt pulls away slightly on the straightaway, but it might just be optical because he's going faster, and therefore, definitely good ratio there. Faster the car goes, the same amount of time translates into greater distance between the two of them. So that oftentimes it looks like the person in front is pulling away, coming onto the straightaway, just like here. But at the other end, when everybody gets on the brakes, the car will get a little bit closer, and it will feel like Roger's gaining on him. When in fact, the gap in time-wise is the same between them. Okay, going into 9 one more time. Roger makes a little bit wider entry, gets on the power nicely, and gains a little bit on him there. They're both going to come onto the main straightaway pretty much even. Well, Roger seemed to gain a little bit on him there, but not by much. Let's see what the gap is when we go across the start-finish line this time. And 0.7 of a second. So Kurt has actually gained 0.3 of a second on him. Here we go into the 1-2 turn complex. Once again, they're still darn close to one another. Kurt's going through there a little bit smoother this time. I don't know if he's going any faster or not. The gap between them coming out of the straightaway before turn 4 seems to be about the same. This is turning into one heck of a race. Oh, there's a good wiggle there as Kurt rotates under braking once more. Now they're going to go under the bridge. And they're both going through here about the same. Oh, Kurt's pulled away just a tiny little bit, maybe. Roger's taking a little bit wider entry into this turn. And Roger, Kurt wiggling around through that curve, that stadium turn. And here we go into, Roger really caught up to him under braking there. He's falling back a little bit, it seems, but it's going to allow him actually to get on the power a little bit stronger. And sure enough, he's right back up on his tail here. And as they go into turn 11A, it is quite a race still. 11B onto the main straightaway. We'll be able to get a gap here. Once again, start finish back down to 0.4 of a second. It is any man's race at this point. I mean, obviously Kurt's got an advantage being in front, but he really clips that apex very nicely that time, nice and tight. It seems to pay off for him coming out of turn 2 into turn 3. Onto the straightaway, down to turn 4, the slowest turn on the track. Nice rotation under braking once again for Kurt. Down to the turn that goes underneath the bridge. Round and round they go. Looked like a really wide midpoint there for Kurt, but it certainly didn't hurt him. He's actually pulled ahead a little bit. Now they go through the stadium turn. Out onto the back straight, the oval. Once again, through 9, through 10. Roger does catch up to him a little bit again through that complex. He really does that portion well. Through 11A, through 11B, and out onto the front straight. Once again, we're close enough so that we'll be able to get a gap between the two of them. A half a second. Half a second gap into 1. You know, it looks like Roger's catching up on their braking there, but mostly because they're going slower. Oh, here comes traffic. They're catching up to the back, the first of the back markers, catching up to the first of the back markers. This is where the race may be decided. Who gets lucky as they go through? Kurt went past that Alpine very nicely. The Alpine went wide and let Roger through as well. This doesn't look like it's going to work out as well for Roger. He's going to have to drive around the outside of the Austin Healey, but it doesn't seem to hurt him too much. But Kurt has definitely pulled out a bigger gap. 1.4 seconds going underneath the bridge. The traffic has actually helped him. It looks like he might be getting held up by the next car, but no, he's going underneath him and past him pretty easily. And this is not going to work out well for Roger. He is really going to be held up by this Datsun Z car going through 9 and through 10. Oh yeah, this is not good. Kurt, look at how far ahead Kurt is now. This is not good. He's already disappeared behind the hill through turn 11 and B, 11A and B, and back out on the straight. Oh, that's a big lead. That is significant. It's really even hard to see him. Oh, we can see it very nicely there, up against, silhouetted up against the tire wall. Let's see if that'll give us a gap. Oh boy, estimated between 4 and 5 second gap. That's a substantial lead, folks, especially in a short race where it only has 12 laps. Not necessarily insurmountable, but definitely not a good situation for Roger. Basically, we can hope that he doesn't give up, keeps applying maximum effort, and Kurt eventually runs into some traffic that holds him up instead of giving him even bigger advantage. And let's see, Kurt has gone past 2 more cars. Will they hold Roger up? Well, Kurt's behind a car himself now. I don't know how much it's going to make up for the good fortune he had. Well, he got past that car very easily. Roger's going to get past this Alfa Romeo well. I don't know how much he's going to be held up by this MGB GT. Of course, across the start-finish line. Will he be able to get past this Corvair? No problem. Past the Corvair. And let's see how Kurt looks against the tire wall. Well, actually, we're a little bit closer to him this time. He is a little bit bigger on the screen this time. He's going into turn 3 now. We can at least keep our eye on him the whole time around the corner. There's more traffic ahead in the turn on the speedway turn. Oh no, this isn't the speedway turn. This is coming up under the bridge. And well, at least he's still within our view. Now we're coming out onto the 5/8 mile oval portion of Thompson. And this Janetta, is he going to hold us up? Well, no, we're still making good speed through that turn. And will we be able to get past him cleanly? Yes, no problem. It's not going to slow Roger down into doing the 9, 10, 11 complex the way he likes to do it. But, oh, now there's Kurt just now going out of view. And it's still a pretty good gap. Oh, yeah. Yeah, he's really booking down the front straightaway, no problem. And let's see what happens when we get down into 1 and 2. Oh, this could be awkward. Oh, the Triumph Spitfire saw Roger at the last second, stayed wide and let him go by. But it certainly didn't allow Roger to tear through there. Now Kurt's being held up a little bit now. Roger's going to be able to get past this Alfa Romeo quite easily. Waves a thank you to the driver. Now what's he going to be able to do with this Alpha? Will he be able to get past him? Yes, before the bridge turn. This is good. And Kurt's, he's a little bit further ahead. He's disappearing a little bit as he comes out of the bridge turn. We're back onto the stadium 5/8 oval portion of the track. That still is a pretty good lead that he's got. Don't know how much Roger's going to be able to make up through this complex. He does so well. Depends upon. No, there's still no traffic in front of Kurt. Still no traffic in front of him. He's just a speck on the horizon at this point. Yeah. Yep, that's a pretty good lead. And Roger has only turned a 1:18.5 on that lap, so traffic is definitely affecting him. Well, he did seem to catch up a fair amount there. You could see Kurt fairly well at the end of the straightaway. And he's being held up by somebody there. But he's got by him very easily. He did get by him very easily. Now Roger's got to contend with the same traffic. I don't know what kind of a sports racer this is in front of us. But I don't think Roger's going to have too much time hard time getting by him. Waves, thank you. Now Kurt is sandwiched between 2 cars, but he's going by him rather easily as well. The red car that's in front of us, the Chevron. Now Roger's going to have to deal with this traffic, and it doesn't look like it's going to be a very good time for Roger. Maybe now he'll be able to get by the Chevron fairly easily. Between 10 and 11, and we should be able to motor right past this Lotus 7, but oh, Kurt has got way ahead. Back to as big a lead as we have seen the whole race. Yeah, but there's more traffic, so there's more hope. He might get held up again. And we do seem to be gaining on him. We can see him much better. Oh, it's the blue Alpine and the red Austin Healey. We're going to be lapping them for the second time. To go past 2 cars like this in such a short race, ooh, this could be slowing Roger down quite a bit right here. And he gets by him, but Kurt has still got a pretty good lead. We go back underneath the bridge one more time. You see we're on lap 10 now. Ooh, only 2 laps to go. Well, this is when Roger has really got to press just as hard as he possibly can if he's going to try and catch back up to Kurt, which it sort of looks like he's doing. He's not giving up. He is pushing pretty hard here. And Kurt's being held up in the 9, 10, 11 complex. So this is Roger's chance, and my goodness, look at how much he has caught up to him here. And Kurt has definitely been held up by this Datsun Z car, and I don't think it's going to hold Roger up much at all. That is a much shorter gap than we had just one lap ago. Let's see what Roger's lap time is. It's still a 1:18. Well, it's still a 1.2 second lap too, so no gap. So we still have that. Whoa, he does seem to be catching up to him under braking there. We're much closer now, folks. It's he's not right on top of him yet, but it's definitely a race. He is close. We are on the next to last lap. And there's a little wiggle from Kurt as he goes through that turn. Turn 3 before we go into turn 4 rather. Under the bridge. Is he going to be held up by this car? How is Roger going to fare? Chasing him down. Oh, the Triumph is going to go wide so that Roger can go underneath him very comfortably. Gets on the power very nicely coming through the turn. Now to where Roger shines the best, through the turn 9. Here we go into 9. He's catching up. Through 10. He's right back close to him again. This is pretty amazing. Oh, he's even closer going through 11 and 11B. It is definitely a race again. Oh my goodness, they're coming across the start-finish line. And Roger goes to the inside a little bit, and I think he's made Kurt nervous. He's come all the way over, and oh my goodness, they're side by side, but it cost them both a lot of speed. They almost went dead in the water there. Kurt stayed in front of him all right, and now we are on the last lap. And it's one thing to catch up to your competitor, it's another thing to get past him. So unless something really unusual happens, whoa, a lot of rotation there. But it didn't hurt him. He got on the power very quickly coming out of that turn. Once again under the bridge. Looks pretty typical for the both of them going underneath there. Back out into the 5/8 oval for one last time. They're both pressing very hard through the corner. Kurt knows he's got a race on his hands again. He's not going to let up. Roger's not going to let up. Roger's going to press one more time through this complex just as fast as he can. He does gain a little on him going through 10. There's some traffic, but I don't think it's going to be much of a factor. I think Kurt's going to be able to drive. They're both going to be able to just drive right around the Alpha. They're both getting pointed by. Here comes the start-finish line. They're right back down to a very small gap. What a heck of a race that was. Roger gives him the thumbs up, and Kurt gives him a thumbs up. These two just had a great time. You can tell they really enjoyed that, and I for one certainly enjoyed watching it. That was amazing that Roger was able to come back and make a race of it again. He didn't just sit back and relax, and he had one shot at coming back at him, and he took it. It made Kurt nervous, obviously. By the way, Kurt pulled over in front of him in a defensive move. Nothing wrong with that. As they went into turn 1. And now they're basically taking their cool-off lap. And I imagine if they can get together and talk to one another when they get back into the paddock, they're going to have a good time talking about this race. We haven't had a chance to talk to Kurt much before the race, so I hope that we can have a good time debriefing, or just waving to the corner workers as one does. We owe an awful lot to them for their contribution. Without them, we wouldn't be able to have these races. I don't know how they do it, staying out in all kinds of weather, all kinds of conditions, all day long. Roger's putting his fist up in the air, which is the signal for pulling into the pits. Right around this corner, there's the entrance on the right. And what the heck, Kurt, what are you doing? You're supposed to have come into the pits. Oh, you know what? I'll bet he got fixated on that car that was in front of him. And when the car in front of him didn't pull into the pits, he just kept on going. What he didn't realize was that the car in front of him was just now taking the checkered flag. That's how far back, in fact, the car in front of him was. It wasn't on the same lap. So now Kurt is going to be the subject of a lot of conversation over the radios with the corner workers. They're going to be calling him a runner. That's what they call someone who doesn't come into the pits when they're supposed to after the checkered flag. And they will probably be having a little discussion with him in the impound area when he finally does come in. Going to be a little embarrassing for him, but it's one of the hazards of racing. Sometimes you just sort of get caught out. Well, the next race for us is going to be Mont Tremblant, which is about 80 miles northeast of Montreal. We love going there. Of the area, we like to say, you can't buy a bad meal up there. We're looking forward to seeing some of our other racing friends that we know are going to be up there. Hopefully not long after that venture, I will have another video ready for you to view. And if you'd like to subscribe and be automatically notified when that video gets posted, feel free to do so. And we'll talk to you later. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.